Today we're going to be making the carrot cake whoopie pies that I promised you. If anyone saw my Instagram picture, you'll notice that my first time was a complete fail. So take 2 is today. We'll hope they turn out better. So I have all my ingredients already lined up, so just be a little bit quicker. We're just going to put our dry ingredients together. So I have a cup of gluten-free flour, 3/4 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So to that, we're just going to add the rest of our dry ingredients, which is our spices. So we're going to add 3/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. And we're going to add 1/4 teaspoon of ginger, or about. And then 1/8 teaspoon of nutmeg. I'm just going to give that a little stir here. And then we'll set it aside and go on to our wet ingredients. So we're going to start with 1/4 cup or 1/2 stick of butter. I always use salted. You can use unsalted if you'd like. I just have it softened. I just softened it in the microwave for like 10 seconds because I forgot to take it out early. So we're just going to get that nice and creamy. Alright, so then to that we're going to add 1/4 cup of brown sugar and 1/4 cup of white sugar, 50 grams of each. And we're just going to mix that until it's all combined. Alright, now that that's all together, we're going to go ahead and add an egg. I like to use, anytime I'm adding an egg to like butter mixture, I like to use a warm egg. So I just put it in a little cup of warm water and let it sit for a couple of minutes, and then this is nice and warm. And then it won't make your butter re-solidify. So we're just going to add the egg in here, and we're also going to add 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then we're going to give that a mix until it's light and fluffy. So I'm just going to scrape the sides of our bowl here. Make sure we get all that butter off the sides. And then keep mixing for another minute. So to that, once it's light and fluffy, we're just going to add in our dry ingredients here. So I'm just going to sprinkle it in and give it a mix. We don't want to overmix, so we'll do it until it's just combined. Alright. So then once that's all ready, we're going to add in a cup of carrots. I used to hand grate all my carrots, and if I was doing like a 9-inch cake, it would literally take me days and days, and my arm would be so sore. So my husband was like, why don't you try to put them in the food processor? So that's what we did, and it works great. So I just stuck them in the food processor and pulsed them till they're super finely grated. So 1 cup is about 100 grams of carrots. I'm just going to fold those in. Alright, so I think that's all ready. Last time what happened was my cookies spread like over the whole entire pan, and they all went into each other. So this time we're going to chill the dough for an hour, or the batter for an hour, before we scoop it on the cookie sheets, and that should help it keep its shape in the oven. So I'm just going to cover this with some plastic wrap, and we'll put it in the fridge for an hour. Just cover that nice and tight. Into the fridge we go. Alright, so the batter has been chilling in the refrigerator for about an hour. So now we're just going to scoop it onto the cookie sheet. I might need more than one, we'll see. We want to do it in about 2 tablespoon sized balls, or about 30 grams. So I'm just going to measure at least the first couple to see how big they should be. And then just put them, try to get them in little circles if you can. And then just put them on the pan. And then I'm going to leave some space. I learned from my mistake last time. I'm going to try to leave some space in between these ones on the sheet. Alright, so I got our balls out here on the pan. We're just going to bake these at 350 degrees for about 15 minutes. I'll show you what they look like when they come out. Alright, so I just got the first batch out of the oven. So I'm just going to put them on a wire cooling rack. And we'll let them cool totally to room temperature before we frost them, just so that the frosting doesn't melt. Okay, so now that the carrot cake whoopie pies are out of the oven, we're gonna go ahead and make the frosting. We'll wait until they're totally cool to frost them, but we'll get it prepped. So here I have 3 tablespoons of softened butter. And I'm gonna start mixing that first. I like to get it really creamy before I add the cream cheese. All right. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add our cream cheese. So when I'm making cream cheese frosting, I always do like equal parts in ounces of cream cheese to equal part in tablespoons of butter. So for example, I have 3 tablespoons of butter here and I have 3 ounces of cream cheese here. And then we're just gonna give that a good mix till it's all creamy too. Then we're gonna add 60 grams or half a cup of powdered sugar, along with a teaspoon of vanilla extract, or 5 mils. And then we're gonna give that a stir. Alright, once you have that incorporated, we'll add our second half cup or 60 more grams of powdered sugar. And then we're just going to whip that again for a minute or two until it's nice and creamy and there's no lumps or anything in there. Start low and then increase your speed. And then to finish it off, I'm just going to add a little bit of pineapple juice right to the frosting, and we'll get it all mixed in and incorporated. A lot of like carrot cake recipes have a secret ingredient of pineapple, and I didn't want our cookies to spread too much or be too wet, so I didn't put it in the batter, but I still want to incorporate that flavor a little bit, so I'm going to do it by putting it in the cream cheese frosting. So I just have a can of pineapple here, and I'm really just going to sprinkle in like a tablespoon or 15 mils about of the juice. Not too much, I don't want it to get too watered down. We'll start with that. And then mix that in. I'm just gonna give that a little taste and see if it needs more. I think it needs more, I can't taste it. Okay, a little bit more. Mix it again. Let's try that. That's better. All right, so I'm just gonna stick this in the fridge for like 5 minutes just to let it stiffen up a little bit, and then I'll pull it out and we'll frost the cookies. All right, so now that these are cool, I'm just matching them up by size. Whoops, just to try to get ones that are close enough in size to make the sandwich. All right, now we're just gonna put the filling in. So I just put the frosting in a bag here. It's lined with a 1M tip, and I'm just gonna pipe it a little swirl and then sandwich it. So that's it. These are my version of a gluten-free carrot cake whoopie pie. The full recipe will be up on my blog, nomadegf.com. You can view full instructions, written recipe, and video there. Thank you.